let's head into the field now. This field is always causing water issues. You can see it's still wet here. Well, we had a few days of 30 degrees and no rain. So what we're gonna do is dig a drainage line from here to the creek, and that way the water should drain. There is a water leak at the glass house there, where water comes in the yard and it just stays here. So it's always too wet here. So we hope to fix it this way. So in 2019 we made water lines under the trees here, and we made a main line on this side. Now we figured that our big water pump is way too big for that little sprinkling system, so we also made a new water well last year, which is only 8 meters deep, but it delivers clear water without rust. So that's perfect for these little hoses. And now we just need to connect up this main line to that new pump instead of the old one. And we figured we did some things wrong in 2019, because we let all the water come through different hoses from the big sprinkling system. And now we want it to be one line, so we need to connect everything up. So let's do that. This is the main valve that we used before to actually turn that part open of the aggregate, but we forgot how we made it, as we got another hose coming through there from the sprinklers. It's actually making a turn there onto the main pipe for that side, and we got it on this side to go that side. Now, as you can see, this one is closed up here. That means this valve does nothing, but you can't see it if it's covered in the dirt. So that was opening this and figuring out why you didn't get water on that side. Well, now it's clear to us because it's closed up here. So what we're gonna have to do, and why we dug this open, is to put a piece of hose from here to there, make a deep coupler there, and then we have one main water line for the low pressure coming straight from the pump, and basically all the sprinklers can remain in the position that they are, and we could activate either one of the two pumps to activate either one of the two systems. We should have done this in 2019 when we made the system, but back then it was 35 degrees over day and we made this in the evening, and we didn't have the parts, but we had to get it running as the trees really needed water. So we made it this way. And yeah, things that you make in a hurry are not always the best solution. So that's exactly what we're fixing now. But since we have an excavator now, it's really not that big of a problem. So it means way less shoveling with the shovel. That's perfect. That isn't supposed to leak like that. I put this in 2 years ago in place. And they were already used before, these couplings. And I took them out because the valve was at the wrong place. Now they leak. I assume that the O-ring in here is leaking, so we need to replace that. Unfortunately, we are sprinkling at this moment at low pressure. As we have a low pressure pump here now, I will show that later on. But that is putting pressure on this pipeline, and that's also why we cannot take it apart now. So within a few days we can fix this, and then we can close this hole again. And then we should be free of all the water on this headland here, as that's quite a problem if you are spraying here and you just gave a lot of water and it's all coming to the surface. You get a mud from that. So here we got our deep well pump. That one is going 130 meters down, and there's a pump at 50 meters depth, and that one is pumping up water with a pressure of 5 bar to sprinkle this whole field. But of course that's not likely for the little pipes. So for the little lines, last year we made a well which is only 8 meters deep or 10, and it has clean water, so no iron or nothing. We have tested it, it's perfect, and it's only for low capacity. So there's a pump inside here as well, which is about 5 cubic meters an hour, but that's still about 120 cubic meters of water every day that's going into this field, and that's equal to sprinkling once every 7 days. So we prefer to give it this way, as it comes to the root of the apple tree and not over top, so we have way less chance of sicknesses in the apple trees, and we also don't lose as much as we would lose when we are sprinkling over top. I think that's gonna be good. Now we just need to fix up all the pipe work, so we don't need to use that main line anymore for the low pressure, but we could use this pipe which is running here instead of that main pipe to give the water continuously. It's also still possible to sprinkle over top while we are giving water down over the bottom, so that makes things a lot easier, so we can even do both at the same time. So we're gonna dig here to fix a leak, as we have 2 rows here which are having a water leak, and we want to have it fixed, as it's leaking a lot of water. It's always making a mud pool in the summer here. We don't like that. So we exposed the main pipe there, and the plan is that we close up this hole and to make a new hole for the water pipe, so that way we should be free of leaks. This has always been leaking, and since this is a pressure line which we like to have on pressure 24/7 around the whole summer, it's not really convenient if it leaks all the time. So that's why we need to fix it. So the problem here was that the old hole was still too big, and it was done in both locations. That's because these older saddles, not this one, but an older type, had a bigger hole and a bigger O-ring. Unfortunately, at the time we drilled the holes, we figured out we had a smaller O-ring, and we put it in back then, and it was leaking a little bit. Here we made a new saddle to actually sit the hose on with the correct size of hole. That one seems to seal perfect, so that's how it's supposed to be. This is not how it's supposed to be. This one is just to fix it now, because this is the way we can fix a hole in a pipe. Get a piece of rubber in between to actually seal it up. And back in the days, my grandparents, they also put in pipe work here to make sprinklers underneath the trees. So back then we had this main pipe, but that's just way too thin and it doesn't let enough water through for night for sprinkling, so that's obsolete. You can see we still have that pipe in here, and the fun thing is on the other hole we actually had a lot of water coming out of that, so it means it was still holding water, so it was still watertight. Now it's perfectly dry, so now we can close up this hole again. Well, the biggest advantage of having the excavator is not just to have to dig the hole here by hand, but even a bigger advantage is that we can dig a hole way bigger than we need. That way I can sit on a nice height to walk on the pipe. In the past we always dig a hole just as big as the hole is where we have to connect it, and you lean forward over into the hole to actually get it fixed. But you never see if you fix it right or not. And now, well, I mean, we got a perfect view of how it's looking, so it means we can do a good fix this time. And in the past we were just not able to do it, or we had to shovel for more than one day to get this much dirt out. So that's exactly why we need an excavator, to fix stuff properly and to make stuff properly. You don't need a big hole to just get a pipe in, you need a big hole to make sure that you made it right.
Since I was a child, when I was young and wild, nobody could ever tell me there was nothing to overwhelm me. I thought I was cool when I left school. Took some time for me to realize.
And now on to the next project. This field also has a water leak, just like the other field. As we have a wet spot here, and this is actually our sprinkling row. So we assume it's the same problem as the other field. We just gotta fix it as well, as we want to have this pipe on continuously water for 24/7 as well. And to do so, we need to have no water leaks. So we gotta fix this one.
I thought I was cool when I left school. Took some time for me to realize I don't need this disguise. Baby, come, let's move on. 'Cause if I show my love, it dance through the night in the neon lights. Love everybody. My mind is set
Well, this one is now also fixed. So the hole in here is just way too big. So we put a rubber seal in between to make it close. So let's hope that when we put pressure on it now, that it is watertight. If you enjoyed watching this video, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe so you get a notification when the next video comes online. Thank you for watching.